The City Council Personnel Committee. Today is February 3rd at 6:30. We'll start off with the reappointment of Diane Smith as City Auditor. Diane, if you want to just come up to the well. How are you today?
Good, thanks.
Welcome. So we've been in the City Auditor for how long now?
I've been with the city for 18 years, hard to believe, and I've been the city auditor for 12.
Okay. What's the greatest joy of being a city auditor?
Where to begin? I mean, well, that goes without saying, right? I do love my job, as the mayor knows. I just told him that recently. I think what I really love about it is it's different. You never know what's going to happen. And I was just saying to someone recently that you have your day planned, you come in, and it doesn't go as planned. It's just totally, there's something else comes up, there's always a problem to solve.
Sure.
So it keeps me busy.
Thank you. Thank you for your dedication after all these years. Is there any other questions from the committee? Mr. Doucette.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Diane, thank you for your service. I've worked with you a couple of times, and as I was coming up to speed with finances, and I found your insights to be very well worth it. You know, finding people who enjoy working with numbers are few and far between. I'm glad we found one with you, seriously. So hope you continue your work within the city for many years. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Yes, Council.
Mr. Chairman, no, I just want to let the councils know, in my prior work as finance chair, I've worked extensively with Diane and Brian, and the information I get asked from Diane is timely, is accurate, does a great job, very dedicated, puts all the information out. You all know, you all get the monthly finances now that shows you the status of what's going on in the city. So I would encourage the committee to look favorable on reappointing Ms. Smith to another term.
Anyone else? Council Landers, nothing?
Well, I've been in your office for a while. I used to spend a lot of time in there very back. What's the makeup of your personnel in your office now?
Council Landers is going to speak.
House payable clerk,
I have two full-time, well, I have a finance assistant who, she's not a true assistant auditor, but she's close to that. So I have a finance assistant that's full-time. I have a part-time senior clerk, and I have a full-time principal clerk. And the part-time and the full-time clerks, they work on the payables, among other things. And then I also have the chief procurement officer is part of my office as well.
Oh, that's
Yes.
good.
Beverly Sleeper.
Glad to hear that, yeah.
Yep.
Very good. I'm all set, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Is there anything else? Okay, can we have a vote?
Vote to approve?
I second that. Any other questions? All in favor? 3-0. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much.
Next up is number 5, order number 20-1007920, communication from the mayor regarding the appointment of Ms. Khan to the planning board for a one-year term to expire the first Monday in February 2021. Can we have Ms. Khan please step up? How are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you for asking. So your resume is included in the pamphlet that we received. It's pretty extensive. So if I could ask, why, of all the boards, why the planning board?
So one of the reasons why was there was a vacancy. So it's a good way to get involved in the community that I live in. So we just moved here a year ago. And I was involved in the Hudson community as well. And I grew up, my father was always in the town, so we grew up being involved in the town. So it's the best way to volunteer here.
That's great. Any other questions? Go ahead. Counselor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So you were a senior manager, global finance and business analytics, basically at the EMC subsidiary, which is now Dell. So I know the company well. And how do you see the experience with global finance and business analytics helping with planning boards? I mean, your business, the global finance is up here, right? You're literally talking, feet on the ground as far as planning boards, but, how do you see that type, what sort of insight do you provide from that type of experience when you start talking about the issues at the planning board?
Yeah, sure. So one of the, I think, key factors about any planning board or any board is execution. So regardless of whether you're up here or you're down here, I think you need to understand how to execute. And I think that was my experience in analytics and putting forward, like a budget in the beginning of the year and executing against it will help me with my experience in the planning board.
Okay, thank you.
Counselor Roby?
Do you want to let Councilor Landers
no, that's
go
all right.
since he's on the committee?
Well, I was just saying, Mr. Chairman, how pleased we are that you're interested, and, we'd be foolish not to put you on board. Your resume's super. I can just tell, just the brief comments that you made, that's what we need.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Khan, I know that your resume is very extensive and you have a good background in finance, but I guess my concern is also moving from that to the planning board. And I know the use of the term town is pretty often used. We are a city, and I hope that you understand the difference between the planning board's role in a city versus a town, and what your role would be as a planning board member. So have you gone to planning board meetings?
I
Do
have.
you
I've attended.
understand all of the information from MGL that regards all of the detailed stuff? I go to planning board on a pretty regular basis, and I'm just amazed at all of the things that they're responsible for, which luckily I don't have to be responsible for. So I hope that it sounds like you would be excited and willing and able to learn the ropes, but I would think that there is a lot to learn.
Definitely.
And hope you know what you're getting into.
I mean, definitely. I think there's definitely a lot to learn, but I also, talking to some of the planning board members, it seems like as I'm going, a lot of them will help me out, understand the terms and, the responsibility.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're excited to have someone. Many of them have been on for a number of years and are only staying because there don't seem to be people who are interested. So thank you for stepping forward to help fill slots.
If I could ask one more question. So it's always interesting to me on how people find out about these roles or positions. So how did you come to find out that there was an open position and to apply for it? Just so we can get other people interested.
I mean, the Facebook,
Sure.
I guess I liked the Facebook page and then it
Okay.
came up and then I responded to that.
Was it the City of Marlborough Facebook
City
page?
of- yeah.
Perfect. It's always good to know how we get qualified candidates to come in and actually apply. So that's great to know that the Facebook social media is actually working to our advantage. Is there any other questions? No? Can I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Second? Any other questions? All in favor? 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so next on the agenda is item order number 20-1007902, communication from the mayor regarding a reappointment of Ms. Carlson to the Commission of Disability for a 2-year term from date of confirmation. We'll just have her step up, please and thank you. How are you today?
Hello, good, thank you.
Great. Alrighty, so we're reappointing you, correct? How long have we served for? Just for the record.
Well, I don't know how long I've officially served for
Okay.
because I did attend meetings before I was actually official.
Okay,
But a good 13 years.
Okay. I have here 2012, that was a test. But it could be wrong,
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Good to know. I was gonna say it did that.
So how is it being on the Disabilities Committee?
It's a nice committee to serve on. We get to do some really useful things for folks in the community. One of the best parts is collecting the funds for people who park illegally in the spots, because we can then send some children with special needs to camp in the summer. Sometimes we, buy special adaptive equipment for them that a family maybe couldn't afford, so it's nice to be able to help people like that, and it's also nice to be able to educate people who park in those parking spots just what they're for.
Sure.
Yeah,
So if I park in an illegal spot, I can send a kid to camp?
maybe. I'll send your picture to the police department and then I'll let you know.
No, I didn't know that, so that's great to know. How did we get involved in 2012? Do we remember?
I do remember being involved. I used to work at the Brain Injury Commission, and we had speakers go out into the community, and they were at the Lions Club in Marlborough. I was observing my staff person, and some of the folks on the disability approached me directly.
Okay.
And I don't know how any of you feel, but sometimes when someone comes right up to you and says, "Will you do this?" it's pretty hard to say no. So I said, yeah.
And you're still saying yes,
And
so
I'm still
we
here.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Is there any other questions from the committee? Councilor Doucette?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. How you doing, Patty?
Right?
I have to confess, I've been representing the city council since I've been on the council for the Disabilities Commission, and it's been one of really some of the enjoyable experiences working with the committee, working with Patty and the others. So I'm glad to see that you're still in on it. So, and wish you the best and see you at the next meeting.
Yes, sir.
So, thank you.
Coming up soon.
Thank you. Any other questions? Nope. Now, can I have a motion?
Motion to approve?
And
I'll
second?
second that.
Thank you. Any other questions? All in favor? It is approved 3-0. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
All righty, next on the agenda is order number 20-1007903, communication from the mayor regarding the reappointments for the zoning board of appeals. And there's 4 names on, so I'll have you come up to the well, all 4 of you. We'll do it all at once. Yes, so Paul, Robert, Thomas, and Ralph, please. I'm sure you're used to all being together, so why not continue?
No, you can't. Zoning Board of Appeals now in session.
All righty. So who's been on the longest?
Paul.
All right. How long has that been, sir?
Good question. I moved to Marlborough in the year 2000, and I think the first telephone call I got was your former Public Works Director, Ron Lafreniere, when I had been here in the mid-'70s as a city engineer, he was a young college graduate, and he was hired by the city, and I took him under my wing, and we had a great relationship on a professional level. Over the years, I had him involved with the Municipal Engineers Association, and we became good friends. And when I came back to Marlborough in 2000, as I said, there was the first phone call I got was from him, and he wanted me to get on some board. So he had me appointed through the mayor as an alternate member of the Zoning Board of Appeals. And after 4 or 5 years in that position, I found that as an alternate member, I was probably sitting as much as a real member, because most of the older members were either sick or in a hospital or couldn't attend the meetings. So as it turned out, several years later, the chairman of the board resigned because of poor health, and another one of the older members of the board resigned, and 2 members previously had quit because they had some differences with the chairman. So I was left as the only member of the board by default. I became the chairman when I imposed upon the mayor to appoint new members. And I'm very happy to say that I think we've got a very cohesive board right now. They're very conscientious and do deliberations to the best of their abilities. I have to say, we weren't pleased when the city council threw the burden of special permits for single-family, two-family homes on our shoulders, but we're taking care of it. So it's kind of a measure of love for me, because I had been involved in a political situation in my hometown of Waltham before I came here. And Marlborough's a nice city. I like it, and we live in a condo now, and being involved with this zoning board of appeals, I've gotten to make a lot of friends. I've met a lot of friends. I've had a couple of older friends here on the city council, and it's an enjoyable situation, and I think the city is very proud, I think, to have a group of men willing to give of their time to serve on a board like this. It's a thankless job, basically, because we get all the complaints from people that don't like a neighbor wanting to put an addition on the house and things like that. And yet we have to sift through all those complaints and use the best decision that we can in making everybody happy. It doesn't always happen, but we at least give an explanation to the people that object to what we're doing if we do approve something. So I'll let any of my other board members want to speak and say anything they'd like. Okay? I've said enough. If there are other questions, you can ask any of us.
Is there any other questions from the committee? Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much. So thank you guys for all the service you've done. I just wanted to say that up front. I agree as far as, seeing the zoning board of appeals is basically the end of a dead-end road when all other appeals are kind of circumvented. So yeah, you get the tough points to address. And I hope you guys continue serving for the city the way you have so far, and best of luck with going forward. So thanks.
Anyone else? Councilor.
I was just wondering, Mr. Chairman, I don't know if Paul or the mayor can answer. Does this give you full membership now?
Do we what?
Will this give you all the full membership of the planning
We
board?
do have a full membership now, yes. We could use a couple of alternates just in case somebody has a sick day and can't attend the hearings and so forth.
I actually proposed an alternate and had a friend send in resume many, many months ago, and he hasn't heard back.
Okay.
Could introduce the other members of the
Absolutely.
board that are present here. Ralph Lofton has been with the board for
About 4 years, I
4 or
think.
5 years. Bob Levine and Tom Golden. And we have one other member who didn't have to be reappointed because he's still in his first term, basically, Tom Pope, right?
Thank you. Is there any other questions? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No, I just want to acknowledge the work that the Zoning Board of Appeals does. I mean, we've sent you some challenging cases this year, and I think you have all handled them with professionalism and, that serve the city well. So I want to acknowledge your efforts, and I appreciate it from where I sit on the council that the work you do is valued. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, Councilor.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to save Councilor Robia a question, save her. Do you allow ladies on your board?
Do I what?
Do you allow females on your board?
I have no objection to them.
That's your choice, that's your call.
Were you thinking about that, Councilor Roby, were you thinking about that when he said the men?
No, I was not. I think obviously it is a board of men. I'm sure that women would be more than welcome, and I would encourage them to apply.
You got your plug in. I'm all set, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. If there's nothing else, then we can have a motion.
I did want to say something.
Oh, absolutely.
One of the things I liked most about the meetings the last 4 or 5 years is Councilor Roby showed up with one of her constituents once who had a difficult problem. And I think that says a lot for councilors in their, supporting their wards.
Absolutely.
So I thought that was nice.
Motion to approve?
And I'll second that. Any other questions? If not, all in favor? Approved 3-0. Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
How you doing? How's everything going?
And the last item on our agenda is order number 20-100794. Communication from the mayor regarding appointment of Paul Gould to the Fort Meadow Commission for 3-year term from the date of confirmation, who will be replacing Commissioner Dell'Ingiano. How are you doing today? Good. Want to have a step up to the seats? How are you tonight?
Good, you?
Good, thank you. So we were talking earlier, you've been on the Fort Meadow Commission before, correct?
I've been on the commission, say, since about 2000.
2000, okay. All righty. How's it going over there?
Going good.
Yeah? How often do you guys meet?
Once a month.
Okay.
The winters are off. We meet from April, May till September, maybe an October meeting.
Sure. So, excuse me, my naiveness, but what is the agenda like when you have your meetings? Is it more of a neighborhood, or?
It's more for the lake. The agenda could be any kind of issues on the lake at the time. If we had anything from an accident to problems with residents or
Sure.
problems with people coming on the lake or just everything in general.
No, that's great. I think people on the other side of Marlborough may not know that you guys exist, so that's why we're being taped, so it'd be just nice to know that insight
Oh,
that you guys do exist and work together.
Commission's 5 guys that are residents of the lake,
Yep,
and we're just out there to help enforce the rules of the lake.
that's great. I love that.
And
Thank you.
it's gotten pretty busy.
Is there any questions from the committee? Yes, Councilor.
I'm curious, I noticed you've been draining the lake all winter. At what point do you stop draining and let it fill up?
Probably in the mid-March, we'll close the spillway, and it'll fill back up.
At that point, we hope no snow, but a lot of rain, for that will fill up.
It should take about a month to fill up on an average winter.
Would average rain, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of, I don't know if the city does much work, but does this give the homeowners an opportunity to work on their
It does.
falls and,
It gives them a chance to work on their property and to help with controlling the weeds.
well, that's the key,
It
right?
freezes
Yeah.
off the weeds on the edge.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of benefits by draining it. Some people don't understand it, but some people say, why can't you just drain it 2 feet? It's
But-
either all or nothing.
You know, that body of water is one of our true assets of the city, you know, for the boating and the water skiing and, you know, swimming and so forth. And,
Oh, it's a great lake.
yeah, it is.
A lot of people don't even know what it's like on the lake.
And I guess we gotta thank you guys for guiding us. You know, the Department of Public Works, they do a lot of the work, but at least the commission, you know, makes
Yeah.
a lot of good decisions and enforces the, you know, the rules and regulations, which is a real plus.
That's all we try to do.
Is there any other questions? Councilor Navin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Less of a question and more of a comment and a thank you. I've gotten to spend a lot of time down at Fort Meadow over the past few months. I just want to say thank you for your hard work. It's as Councilor Landers said, it's a great resource for the city. It's a beautiful place, and I know a lot of our residents get to enjoy it, so thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And Councilor Roby?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm sure that people who live on the lake are probably very familiar what you do, but again, for even city councilors who might not have any idea, are you an autonomous commission? Can you give a ticket to a boat driver, or do you have to
No.
call the police?
We would call
And do you
Marlborough.
work with the Conservation Commission on people when the lake drains and you discover issues?
We do work with Priscilla to get approval to drain the lake, through Priscilla and through Hudson Conservation. And if we have any kind of issues that require further authority, then we contact Marlborough Police or the Environmental Police. We're just volunteers trying to let you know what the rules are when you're out there.
And is it then the Conservation Commission that does the rules for the vegetation that grows and does the treatment to prevent that stuff that's not supposed to be in the lake? Or is that your job?
No, well, we're part of it, but more so conservation.
Okay.
The city's been great by funding it all these years to keep the lake clean and free of weeds. But along with the commission and conservation, they work together with an outside company that does the spraying of the weeds.
And as you said, because the lake is both in Hudson and Marlborough, you work with a Hudson member and you work with the town of Hudson's officials.
There is two Hudson members, and along with Hudson and the four of us in Marlborough, the budgets get split. I mean, we have our budget, and Hudson has money towards everything. You know, they kick in towards the cost of spraying and any supplies, so it's in conjunction, Marlborough and Hudson, more so Marlborough.
Yeah, okay, thank you for helping explain. I know until groups come before us, we don't really get a chance to learn all of the boards and commissions that the city does have and what you do, so thank you.
We're on a rotating, we take turns being available on the weekends in the summer between all of us.
And you,
Go out and patrol the lake. The weekends are the busiest.
and so
That's-
you would be monitoring both the residents and anybody who happens to be on the lake with their own private boat?
Coming in through the boathouse. We don't control people with the private boat ramps. We don't know who comes in there. We have no control over that.
So you don't have control over everybody that's on the lake?
When they're on the lake is one thing. We do have somewhat control of the boats that come in through the boathouse. There's a lot of private boat ramps on the lake that we can't dictate who comes in there.
Right, but once they're on the lake?
Once they're on the lake, if they're doing something wrong, we'll just try to inform them what they're doing wrong, and hopefully they do better.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other questions? No? Motion is on the table.
Motion to approve?
Okay,
I'll second that.
thank you. Any other questions? If not, I'll approve. Approve 3-0. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Everything on the agenda?
Motion to adjourn?
Second that, and all in favor? And we are adjourned at 6:58. Thank you.